Greetings everyone, Monkey Papaw here, and I get to choose a second part of my Yugioh Progressive series with my friends. Now I know it's been a while since the last one, sorry about that. Everything is not my thing, especially with the whole shit issue. Cause like the last one, this one was taken to record the same day, so I had the same audio issues where I didn't record my mic and such. Everything you see has already happened with just post commentary. But enough of that. Anyways, for this one we move on to the second pack that was released, Metal Raiders. Now just like last week, the rules are simple. We put in a random bracket for all five of us, and then we do each other leading up to the last two. We follow the ban list, exception that any cards that are banned we are limited to one, and we can only use the cards that we pull from this pack. As I am right now, or as I did. This one was quite eventful to say, which we wish you could hear the commentary for the others, but because it's this whole audio thing, all you get is mine, and I'm sorry for that. But anyway, simple as that. I hope you enjoy this one, and that you enjoy the matches to come with my post commentary. And here we have with round one between me and Calvin. Okay, and we start off. I won the game. I won the participant game, and after I go second. And this is my hand. And as you can see, one of them is Yugioh. Get used to seeing that card because it's gonna be in my hand a lot. Anyway, Calvin starts off. We go with the face down, and it's my turn. I set down Sangan, and I go in. And compared to the ranking that we do now, because I'm behind on these, this is insane thing how minimal we do in the beginning. Anyways, I just looking through things. I'd set down the arm ninja because it was one of my else to do. I didn't want to risk Yugioh given what I knew about his effect. And you're gonna get used to seeing him and my tendencies not to use him when I auto. Anyways, and I also have down the Cocoon Evolution because I added that to my deck because I need a wall. Yeah, one thing you can probably learn about me that my decks compared to the rest aren't the best. I've never been really good at creating competitive things. He summoned the Bishop Butcher and then he boosted up with Yami. At this point, Calvin was saying he was so desperate for his deck that he added the Bishop Butcher, which lets me draw two cards if I ever take damage from him. Something that I should have taken advantage of. But anyways, I set down Robin Goblin and just move on. We go on. Yeah, Calvin is up with his hand. He's thinking. He summoned what's it called? Re-Elocution Powered. Then he just stopped the fence to switch my cocoon into attack mode, which leaves it wide open for any attack. So yeah, that happened. He attacked with Ryukishin. Right? Pretty sure he does. Yeah, he's awesome. Like, why would you he was like, with a card like Bishop Butcher, why would you ever risk attacking? Okay, anyways, he does that. He then attacks my Ninja, and I just use it to destroy Yami, just to weaken the Butcher a bit. Anyways, now it's my turn now. I first use Sword and Shield to switch the attack point into the defense point, which makes him weaker. And I was considering using White Magical Hat to I don't know what I'm gonna do like a whole double thing, but none White Magical Hat wouldn't be strong anything. But instead, I summon Sangan, and then I equip him with Dark Genji. Yes, I am attacking with Sangan, a monster who is just meant to be destroyed to get a surge. Anyway, I was contemplating about the Butcher, but thinking if he was left out, he wouldn't attack because I know Calvin wouldn't risk attacking. You know what? With it, and with that attack and destroy Ryukishin power, and he takes damage. He has to discard the mana. He discards mana the book from his hand. Thank you, Robin Goblin. And with that, I end my turn, and we move on to it. Shoots one off, so push it back to the original 1800 attack point. He attacked my face down, but it turns out, as we saw, with the Sangan, And this is where I was contemplating what switch to add because I have some. I can get more wall like the glue on my door. Can I get something to help me? Or of course help me. I need something to help me. So I was looking through. I was thinking which one would be the best. Then I wandered over to eye guy, and big eye, and I chose him because big eye has a pretty interesting effect that can be pretty useful if used right. You'll see soon enough once he's used. Anyways, I go over. I then I set big eye because he's a flip effect monster. And again, you'll see why his effect it can actually be pretty interesting. Anyways, I attack with Sangan, which I don't know why. But he attacks on my door, which gives me 700 points of damage. So, anyways, he didn't use. Miguel used a move trap to get rid of my Robin Goblin. Now, he plays the battle grid and he attacks Big Eye. Now, Big Eye that works. I look at the top 5 cards in my deck, and then I can pretty much choose what order to put them in. On top. So I can literally look through this and see which card I want to draw next. And of course, the summon skull there, I add him to the top. Which is what happens next. Now I was contemplating things because I had Dark Energy, but it doesn't matter. I tribute Sangan to summon Skull, and because of Sangan's effect, I can search. And looking through this, I decided to add, after looking through everything I have, I was wondering about the Mass Sorcerer. I add the Mass Sorcerer. Anyways, we go over to attack rate, and I decided to just get rid of the Butcher because he wasn't going to do anything. So I destroy it. Calvin takes 700 points of damage, but I am still pretty behind. Excuse me. Yeah. Anyways, Cal, thinking about that, he uses a card that I'm going to learn to hate. Share the Pain. He tributes the monster. Basically, he tributes the monster, and now I have a tribute monster. We both tribute a monster. And considering I only had Summon Skull, I had no choice but to tribute it. He ends the turn, and he had nothing else to do. And well, my turn too. Looking through what I had in my hand, I didn't have much that could bypass my door. So instead, I just set down the Mass Sorcerer and ended there. So long as they had my door, I couldn't really do much to get to him, but it's gonna be an issue for me. He passes his turn, and that's when I draw Monster Reborn, which I then use to, of course, get Summon Skull. I bring him out, and then I summon White Magical Hat because I can do some damage and make him discard a card. So Summon Skull attacks the door, and then White Magical Hat goes for a direct attack. The effect goes off, and he has to discard another Share the Pain. Ugh, seriously, you're gonna learn to do this draft. But I'm going to hate this card so much. Share the Pain is seriously the worst during the early Yu-Gi-Oh. Anyways, Calvin uses the Sword of Ring Light to flip up my monster and prevent me from attacking. But it doesn't really matter considering I summon the 7-color fish, and then I use Heavy Storm to get rid of Sword of Ring Light. I switch my Sorcerer to attack, and then use Yami to boost the monsters, and then I go in for the attack. My Magical Hat goes first, he deals damage, goes by self-defense. My Sorcerer goes up, I draw a card, I get Sword of Deep Seal, don't go to fish, and then Summon Skull attacks, and I won the first round. And we won this deciding, but I just skipped that because I really don't decide. At least so. Anyways, I'm round 2, I go first, I start off the game with a Pot of Greed, and then I roll by summoning the 7-colored fish. And then I set down my card face down, and I end. Goes up. He summoned Dark Elf, basically Mystical Elf's counter Darker Card of Dark Elf in the name. He paid 1,000 to attack my fish to do me 200 damage. I then use Sword and Shield again. The Shield and Psychic again was called. To switch attack points to 800. I summon several card of fish to destroy it to deal 1000 damage back to Calvin. End my turn. Okay. He had only one face down on the field, but he put a monster face down. I draw. I'm looking at my hand, seeing what I have. I was thinking, contemplating my option, considering how he has a whole bunch of high defense monsters, and that could be a wall. That was my thought process during this time. I set down Sang again, and I go risk it by attacking with some kind of fish. But it was as I thought it was Spirit of the Heart, and I would take damage from that because 2000 defense is seriously a pain. He uses Swords of Reading Light to prevent me attacking, but also make him see that I have Sanka on the field. He puts the card face down. I draw the Sword of Deep Seated. I just pass the turn because I really can't do anything else. Yeah, and I don't know what happened there. Probably because I had to click exactly. So anyway, he tributes him on to summon Sanka. Sanka. Anyway, he attacks, but I decide to stop it by using 2-pronged attack to distribute my monsters and destroy Sanka. So that I don't take that huge damage. Sanka goes off. I get to search. And I'm looking through what I have. I choose. Do I have some monsters that could really help? But I choose Alcomador. It's my turn. I draw. Considering I can attack, I set down Alcomador. Oh, he summoned Bistro Butcher. He said he was separate through the card. He passes this time because he knows that Alcomador because I just searched for it. I set down the Skybug, which I honestly don't know why I included that. It really doesn't help much, but I decided to put it in for some reason. Anyways, Calvin summons Ryu Kishin powered again. He attacks. Bistro Butcher attack. Oh, excuse me, I'm tired. Do you know how long it took for this? This is my third time trying to record the audio because apparently audio recording is a pain. Anyways, on my turn now, I look through and I decide to summon Muka Muka, giving the boost in attack. I attack Ryu Kishin powered, which lands and he deals a good amount of damage. 500. But it doesn't last long because he uses Fissure to destroy it. He didn't summon Witch's Apprentice, a card that really irks me. Basically, it increases monster's attack points enough to destroy my Alcomador. So, turn I draw. That's when I decide to contemplate. So as you can see, I once again have Jirai Gumo. Remember when I said to get used to the card? I wasn't kidding. Get used to seeing it a lot in my hand because other times I barely decide to use them because I don't want to risk you. Oh, excuse me. Anyways, I'm looking through my graveyard. I'm seeing what I could, if anything, I could pull out with Monster Reborn. And that's what I drew. And Monster Reborn could really help out. I'm just right there thinking, looking through all the things. I eventually decide on one. So I decide to. I first summon the Cocoon because, like I said, I know I should have gone for Gumo, but things happen. I said the Cocoon and I pass my turn right there. He summons a Mass Sorcerer. He attacks with your attacks, and that's where I take a good amount of damage. My Sorcerer attack, and he draws a card, and then Witch's Apprentice attack. Now, as you can see, I am not doing quite well. I drew Robin Goblin, but they're not really gonna help me. Now, I'm thinking things. I decided to use Monster Reborn, and this is where there was the dilemma between me, because then I realized that, and there I could summon Sanga a monster with 2600 attack points, which could be useful in the start, but I was contemplating between whether to use that card or whether to use one of my cards. Like I think at the time I decided for Muka Muka, but Sanga had a twist of things that I didn't consider until now. That I think no, I won't say again, but in the end I decided to go for Muka Muka because it now has 21. Sorry, excuse me. Has 100 attack points, which I use to attack the Witch's Apprentice. To lower the attack point, but it doesn't matter because he has two-pronged attack. Should use Apprentice and the Mass Sorcerer to destroy Muka Muka. So that's for the bust. I go for main phase 2, and this is where probably the worst play I've ever done. See, I actually like him, but I said I leave him for direct attack because I'm thinking, oh hey, I'm wide open. You should attack with Mr. Butcher. But Calvin is not dumb enough to fall for that. No, I thought he was fall for it, but he does not. He instead summons 7-colored fish to attack me directly, and then he just passes without using Mr. Butcher. Now this is where I was in the dilemma and I was certainly in trouble. I only had enough life points to survive one more round of attack. By that point, people would have no choice, but people would use it to attack me. That's when I summoned Yugioh, which is like really powerful card. 2300 attack points. Sorry, 2200. Just the effect is that's the problem. Like if you have to, as you can see right now, as I switch to battle phase, I attack 7-colored fish, and now I have to choose what to call head or tail. I choose head, and tail, which means I lose half my life points. But the attack still goes. The reason why I wasn't afraid of Yugioh, I think, is because I wasn't aware that the attack still goes through even if you got around. So that's that I just never use Yugioh because power sounds like a huge risk. But because of that, I have something that can help me for a bit. Calvin sets a face down, and he's still thinking. He's thinking. He sets the face down, and he does not switch this crew into defense mode. I'm going to thinking what to do, but I equip Sword of Deep Sealed on Dragon to increase its life points. It asks me to activate Ramagun, which I decide to because I only have one card in his hand. Might as well get rid of it in case it's useful. He's thinking about what to do, but he doesn't do anything. Yugioh is now at 2700. I go for it and attack the Bistro Butcher. I once again have to call. But there's a very different issue. He uses 2-pronged attack to destroy both his monsters and then destroy mine. And I have to call for it. So I decided to call head, but it was tail. So I take half more damage. And sword goes out and puts it at the top of my deck. So basically you know what it's gonna draw, and it really is not gonna be helpful in this situation. Because my life point is still that low. All I can do is summon a monster like that blue wing crown, attack, and I lose this round. And maybe after that we move on to the next round because, like I said, none of us skip. We draw our cards, and looking at my hand, it's a pretty decent hand. He summoned his own Yugioh on attack mode, which already makes it tough to beat. On my turn, I draw a card to Winning Life, which I use because I really do not want to deal with that spider. I set down 2-pronged attack, and then I set down the Magician of Faith. No, sorry, not Magician of Faith, my bad. I set down Witch of Black Forest. He tributes Yugioh, but he then sets the card face down. I'm so sorry for that. I'm just anyway, I flip open Big Eye to once again rearrange my deck into what I think would be help me more. After some further thinking, I decide on what to change or not. I go in. Actually, no, I don't. I skip the turn because I don't want to take with face down. I had a feeling I knew what it was. I drew it in effect too. Anyway, he then activated Yami to Excuse me. With Yami to boost his monster defense when he needed. If they need it, that's the question. But it's my turn now, so I draw. I'm just looking through what I have in my hand, what I can possibly come up with. That's when I decide to just set Arm Ninja. Calvin passes his turn actually, but that's when Sword goes away because it's already been 3 turns. I flip over Arm Ninja to destroy Yami because. I honestly don't know what was I thinking there, but things happen. Anyways, that's when thinking that card is a dangerous high defense monster that may not have good stats, but can help ruin me. I use 2 bonus actions to distribute Arm Ninja and my face down wedge to destroy that face down monster in the center field, which would happen to be Reaper the Black card. And which goes also I get to search, and I decide to add Summon Skull. Now, which I can actually summon right now, but I instead summon 7-color Fist. I go in for the attack, and that is Akamador, so I take damage. And then my turn there. Well, I think I have a name for this one, the Sleepy Duel. Anyways, I tribute a big eye to bring out Summon Skull, and I go. Again, going for attack mode. Summon Skull attacks Akamador, but 2-pronged attack again, which destroys my Summon Skull, but also destroys his monster too. But in the end, I can do a direct attack with 7-color Fist. Now it might participate on my deck too, so I just end my turn there. Calvin is up. His field is completely banged by his 4 cards in his hand, which he then summoned Bistro Butcher and set the card face down. Now, I was kind of thinking that I didn't have much to do besides just doing a crash, but I really didn't want to kind of do that. So I set Spirit of the Heart down, and then I end my turn. Calvin is up with his draw. He uses Stop Defense to switch my Spirit of the Heart to attack mode. This got me thinking, did he get attack victory? But no, he summons the Blue Winged Crown to destroy my Spirit of the Heart. Very good heart, you did really good. Oh, what? And then he crashes Bistro with 7-color Fish, which kind of leaves me open now. So, I decide to use with the crown. I use block attack, which is make it put in defense mode. I summon Stand again, and then I equip it with Dark Energy to increase its attack point by 300. It's giving it enough to beat Blue Wing Crown. We go back to counter, but he passes. Not much you can do there. It's my turn, and I summon White Magical Hat. I attack, direct hit, and he's forced to discard another Yami, and then Sangan attacks directly as well. That's when I end my turn. Like, I was liking how things were going for me right here. Calvin draws his 1 card again. He's contemplating, but he passes. Not much he can really do. Now, this is when I drew Soul Searcher. Soul Release, sorry. A card that really doesn't really help much in this format. If we were in Chaos, then... Oh, I really shouldn't say that, because then what... I screwed myself already. But anyway, if you want to catch up with the arc, watch Miguel's channel. He is probably better at doing these things than I am. But anyways, I attack with the White Magical Hat. It then to attack, he forces the card. Then Mass Sorcerer allows me to draw a card. So I decided to just use Soul Release and just look into his graveyard, see which one I just want to get rid of. Which even though it doesn't really help much because I haven't seen much spell destruction on his end. I'm just thinking of what cards I think cause the most pain and which card I just want gone. I decided on my 5 cards and decided to go to the banish pile, and that is when I end my turn. Calvin is up. He only do something on this turn, otherwise he loses. He sets the face down. This is why I draw Robin Goblin, but I set down the witch. No, I keep saying wedge. I'm not a wedge. I set down. Like, wow, wow, Magician of Face, that's alright. So I don't know, I forgot the name. It's an attack with Fangan, but it does spare the heart, which makes it too strong to beat. So I'm just trying to think about what to do next. How to get past that wall, but that's when I found an answer. Looking at my graveyard, I was thinking of what I could possibly do to get someone to go back. Like, if I had a monster boot, or consider a monster reborn, I could, but I don't. I summon Jedi Gumo, and then I flip Magician of Faith. I get Sword the Reading Lights, and with that I then attack and destroy Spare the Heart with Jedi Gumo. I of course have to make the effect. I chose heads, but it was tails, so I take half damage, but it doesn't really matter. With the out of the way Sangan, attack Calvin, and defeat him. That gives me the winner of the first round. That was good. Now we move on to the next round. And here we are with the next match, with this time against, it's gonna be Miguel versus Riel. Riel is the one on the bottom and Miguel is the one on top. Now I had to cut out a lot just because Riel takes a lot of the time. She's, like I said before in the last video, if you remember that, given how long it's been. Oh boy. She's kind of new to the game, so she's still learning. He starts the game off with the face down, and Miguel goes up. First, he summons 7-color fish, and then equips it with Master Barrage spell and creates an attack point, and he takes down her face down. Trial of Nightmare. Miguel's up next. She goes through her cards. She summons Kaiser Dragon. Wait, I think Kaiser Dragon. I honestly seem to forget, but yeah, and she goes to battle phase, but you can kind of see the issues there. She can't really do much. But yet she still attacks. People please try to be easy with her. Like I said, she's still new to the game. At this point, she's learning how things work. And Miguel summoned up the Mass Sorcerer. So he attacked with it, and he gets a draw card, and then goes to 7-color fish, dealing a heavy 2300 damage. Miguel sets the monster face down, but it's gonna be hard to find anything to get past that 7-colored fish. But he attacked and it's destroyed. He attacked again with the Mass Sorcerer, he draws a card, and then he attacked with the other 7-colored fish. Miguel's up again. She passes her turn and just like that, that's the game. That's round 1. They go off the side, and we begin round 2 for this game. If I remember correctly, well, yeah, Miguel goes first. He starts out with a pot of grease, so already good start for him. Setting a monster face down. Rael goes up and she's going through what she has in her hand. I just want to cut off some part. She sets the monster face down as well, and then Miguel goes up. He flips up Sangan, and he then summons Darkel. Then he uses the field spell. He attacks it, paying 1,000, and then attacks directly with Sangan. Now, Dark Elf is kind of like and she flips up Great Giant Soldier of Stone. But she summoned it, which was a mistake. Something I did learn and didn't know at the time, but I learned later. She's doing all this on her phone. She's unable to do it on a computer, so that's why she makes so many mistakes. She mishaps because I have no idea how you do this game, doing it on a phone, but I'm pretty sure it's not easy. But anyways, she destroyed the Sangan, but he was able to, because of that, he had to add a card into her hand. Anyway, he attacks directly with Dark Elf and then uses White Magical Hat, who discards a card from Riel's hand. Anyway, it's her turn again, and withdrawing the card, she got her card after losing a card. How did that? Draw one, lose one. Go that way. She sets the monster face down and end, so which is a pretty big time. I know many of you have seen Miguel's videos, so you know that the early games were kind of slow, but But they get there eventually. Anyway, he attacked directly with both Material Hat and Darko. Of course, discard a card from Rio. As I can see, not looking too good for Rio. She's looking what to do. She ends her turn, which seals the game for her. So this was a win for Miguel. Move on to the next game. Alright, this time it's me up against Sean. So get ready to see more mistakes made by me. Cause there's a miracle I was able to win the first round, the first time, but things happen. Anyways, I started things off by setting another Cocoon of Evolution, and Sean sets up with a on breakdown. I summoned set a card of fish and attack directly, and it manages to land. No. Anyway, Sean's up. He uses Paralyzing Potion on my 7-color fish, so it's not able to attack because it's not a machine. I then decide to build up more defense and set down Alchemador. He summons Blue Wing Condor, and then he uses self-defense to flip up my Cocoon of Evolution, which, well, as you can see, it's easily destroyed. So, come up again. I tribute some color fish since they couldn't do much for Summon Skull, and then I go in for the attack. Blue Wing Crown. But, of course, he had Mirror Force, so that's a pain. Anyways, Pot of Greed. Now, Sean he didn't tribute his own monster, he summoned his own Summon Skull. Because why not? And then he uses that. So, this is not looking good for me. I mean, as you saw, I had him on 3-1. I could have brought back Summon Skull, but in the end, as you can see, it doesn't do me much. I set down Wedge of the Black Forest. And then he summons Jedi Gumo, which already spells bad things for me. He attacks the Jedi Gumo, and he calls for a head, and it lands on tail, so he loses his life point. Which is destroyed, and I look through a card anything that can help me. I just evolved him. Seeing that spell was a problem, I get Armed Ninja of all things. Anyways, that's when I do the only play I can do. But even so, things aren't looking good. You can tell things aren't really looking that too good. I set Armed Ninja, and I use Monster Reborn to bring back Summon Skull. I use it to destroy Jedi Gumo. Use him to destroy Jedi Gumo, and end my turn. Now the plan was here, thinking that even if we destroy Summon Skull, I could flip him in the face to get Monster Reborn back and call him again. So this is how it played out. His Summon Skull attacks mine, destroys it. But he does not go for it because he knows what it is. He knows that it's Armed Ninja, so you know, it was a predictable play on my part. Not much you can do. I set Magician of Faith, and I end my turn. So I think this one looking good for me. He set the monster down, then he went to the battle phase. He attacks Armed Ninja, which I use to destroy Dark Energy. And then he attacks Magician of Faith, so I get Monster Reborn. Yeah. I draw, and I draw, I get on Ninja. Anyways, I use Monster Reborn to, of course, bring Summon Skull back again. Now, and sometimes I switch to battle fight, which was a dumb part. Like thinking now, I should have summoned Jedi Gumo, crash summon Skull, then just take the crash summon Skull, and then just take the just put the half damage for Jedi Gumo. I should have done that, but I did not, and which is really does not do me well. He didn't use his German infection, which he uses to lower my. It's gonna weaken my summon Skull, so that's when I decide to crash. But then he had Mirror Force, which that ultimately just gave him game for me because I had nothing on my field. And then he just rubbed it in by summoning Blue Eyes. So that's game for me. Like I said, get used to me making mistakes like this because at early phase I was not good at all. In the race, I just go for any because I don't have a side deck. I go for second, and we start round 2. He goes first by summoning Jedi Gumo up, so it's already a strong attacker. And it's my turn. I look through what I have. I said big guy, and then I said Robin Goblin. This you can go on from here. Set them on the face down, and then he summons. I keep a game where these monsters are called, honestly. He switches to attack mode. He attacks He attacks my face down with Jedi Gumo. And I do not use Bomb Goblin. Anyway, he calls head, and it is tail, so he takes damage. Big Eye goes first. I use the effect to look at the 5 first cards in my hand, and I can use them. Yeah. See, this is where I think this is where I make the mistake, or we'll see later on. In a way, he attacked me directly with the other monster. I could use Gonka, but I don't bother with it. 16, I draw for summon Skull. Now here's what I do next. I summon a Mass Sorcerer. Then I use Sword and Shield. Shield and Sword, so I can get through it. And then after that, I decided to chain Robin Goblin because this is gonna be something. And now for the battle phase, attacked Jedi Gumo with Mass Sorcerer, but he uses Mirror Force. So that already kind of ruins me. I use Sword of the Ring Light, and yep, this is definitely where I screwed up. That big guy I used, that's gonna cost me this game. The sword can stall, but I don't have any. But I won't have to get anything to help me. He summons the blue crown, and then he uses Flowing Wind to make it stronger. He's already getting it set up for. This already has enough. Wait, no, he doesn't kill me. Anyway, I get Dark Energy, but again, not helpful. So one thing I learned with Big Eye, make sure you at least have some. Don't just put spells on your next turn. Make sure you get some that you can actually use. None of these I can. Like block attack. That block attack isn't gonna help me. He basically already has enough to kill me already. Right now, he just summoned the Blue Eyes. See, I basically killed myself with that bigger. I finally get Aquamador, but that would have been much helpful earlier. It just was an embarrassing duel for me. But I decided to continue it. I just set, and I just end my turn there. Not really gonna help me much because I am basically a dead man. Jedi Gumo attacks. He calls Tails, and it happens to be Tails, so he doesn't take any damage. He then attacked me with the first crown, the second crown, and then Blue Eye for game. And Sean won this one. We move on to the final match of the day. It happened to be against Sean and Miguel. And really, Sean's goal off right, summoning his monster after using a pot of green. And Miguel is up by summoning the Dark Elf. He uses the effect, paying 1,000 to do some damage. Sean is up next now. He's 6 cards in the hand to see what he can do. He set the monster face down, and that ends the turn. On Miguel's up, he uses Soulbringing Light to see what it is, and it happens to be Blue Scorpion. I think that's what it's called. Oh, right, Steel Scorpion. Well, a non-machine type monster attack is destroy the end phase of your opponent's second turn. He attacks with Dark Elf, and then you attack the White Magic I have, so that Sean will have to discard a card. So, and having to be a Red Skullbird, which at the time was somewhat still useful. Anyways, Sean goes up. He uses Paralyzing Potion on I cannot talk on Dark Elf. But so he won't be able to attack. He summons another Red Skullbird, which I think at the time we still had Terrain. But Miguel decides to just Solemn it because he can. Now, it may seem questionable to some people, but this was honestly something that was used for the time. Miguel summons Semi-Colored Fish. He attacks with White Magic Hat. The effect goes off. Discard a card, and then he attacks with Semi-Colored Fish. Miguel enters turn right there. We go up to it's Sean's move now. He sets a card face down. Miguel rolls attack mode. He attacks, but it was Spirit of the Heart, so he can't do anything. He ends his turn, and then Dark Elf is destroyed because of the Steel Scorpion effect. Sean is up. He ended, and as such, that also ends Miguel's Sword of Reading Light. Miguel sets a card face down and ends the turn right now. That can't really do much along a Spirit of the Heart on the field. So, that Sean, but he just passes. Miguel takes his turn for draws. He then summons the Masked Sorcerer, and then he uses Shield and Sword, giving him a mix of Shield and Sword. Mask of Darkness goes Mask of Darkness to get back Solemn Judgment. And then he goes to attack mode. Mask of Darkness destroys Spirit of the Heart, and then he attacks with the other monsters, discarding with White Magic Hat, then attacking with the rest. Also drawing with Masked Sorcerer. That was an efficient Shield and Sword. Anyway, he then uses. So I forgot what the name of that card, but basically, he banishes 5 monsters from both graveyards. Then he sets the card face down and ends. Now, you probably already tell that Miguel kind of passes. As Sean knows it too, he passes, and then Miguel just attacks and destroys it. That was round 1. You move on to the next and final round. Well, not final. Oh my god, I can't talk. Anyways, we can move on to round 2, where Miguel starts off by summoning his own blue crown. And then think of face down. Sean is up, he summons his own monster and then equips it with Dark Energy to make it stronger than Miguel. He attacks it, and Miguel takes the damage. So Miguel loses 1 monster and 300 life points. Miguel summons Jedi Gumo. He attacks, he calls it, he calls for heads, and it happens to beat heads, so he calls it right. And his Sean monster is destroyed, and they're once again tied with life points. And he sets the card face down, and then he uses the spell. Use the spell My Summon Spell, which weakens it every standby phase. Miguel then summons White Magic Hat. He calls for heads. It was tails, and then he just steals Scorpion. So Jedi Gumo is gonna So either way, White Magic Hat makes Sean discard a card, and then back to Sean. He says another monster. Miguel draws. He summons another White Magical Hat. Yugioh attack. Miguel calls head, and it happens to be head. He attacks with both White Magical Hat, and Sean is forced to discard his entire hand. He draws one card, and it happens to be a blue crown, which he uses against one of his White Magic Hat, but Miguel counters with a Mirror Force, which basically leaves Sean wide open. This won't be enough to kill him with just those 3 monsters, but with 7-color fish, that's a different story. He attacks with White Magic Hat number 1, White Magic Hat number 2, then Yugioh, which of course he has 0 to call, and he heads, but he gets it, and then 7-color fish, and that is the end, and Miguel wins this next match. And that was match 2 of this progression series. Now, like last game, since Miguel won, he gets to choose a card, and the card that he chose to add this time was Heavy Storm. So yeah, he at this time he had spell destruction. He had a spell destruction. Now, I would say this will be the end of these whole audio things, but as I found out, even my next 2 videos I still have audio problems. So, swell for me. But anyways, I apologize for this wait and sorry for the videos being like this. Editing can be a real pain, especially when you don't record correctly. I'm gonna try to get these up faster, but we'll see. But anyway, if you manage to get better through this, I thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in the next video. Sign off, sir.